Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, we're going to talk about the Combine. There were some freaks that showed out at the Combine this year. A couple of the Vols were part of that, and then we're going to talk about Anthony Richardson as well. Man, he showed out like crazy. Now, one of the things I like to cover is the Combine. Now, the fact that the Vols had like 7 people involved in the Combine is helpful because there's been some years we haven't had a whole bunch of them, but these guys really showed out. But I'm going to need a little bit of help to get this started. Peyton, Carl, could you help me out?
Omaha! Up.
Thanks, guys. All right, we're going to start out with Jeremy Banks. You know, he's 6'1", 232, so, I mean, he's a big dude, as you can see, and was a heck of a player for us when he wasn't getting in trouble with the coach. He ran a 40-yard dash of 4.53. That is amazingly fast for a guy that size. It didn't shock me completely, though, because he ran all over the field, man. He could go sideline to sideline. It's really why he was our best linebacker for the last 2 years. And here's his other stats. 37.5 vertical jump, a broad jump of 10.7. I mean, he just really had a very nice session. And I don't think there's much doubt he's going to get drafted. I know he's got some question marks, and we're all still a little bit upset about that South Carolina. Some of us are real upset about it. I've tried to let it go. But I think he's going to be a good pro as far as athletically, and I think he needs that structure. So hopefully he gets on with a good team, and they can help him be the best player he can be. So let's move on to our next guy. Now, this is Paxton Brooks. Now, he's not done his big workout yet, so we're going to move past that. Hendon Hooker really couldn't show out because of the ACL, but everybody had good meetings with him. That in no way surprised me. Now here's Jalen Hyatt, 6', 176, ran a 4.4 40-yard dash, and he was actually disappointed in that. But the 4.4 was a top 6 among wide receivers, which are your basically fastest players pretty much. And his 40-inch vertical jump was the 4th best of the wide receiver group, so he's a freak athlete. But he was disappointed with a 4.4 40. I think he wanted to run a 4.3. And look, I can kind of understand that. Back in middle school, I used to play some football, ran a little bit of track and golf. You know, we were getting ready to be timed before the start of the season and all that. So look, you know, I knew I was a sub-6 guy on the 40-yard dash, and so I was all pumped up. So I got there at the starting line, and I started running. And I mean, this is how I felt running. Yeah, it was exactly like that. I mean, I felt the wind going through my hair, and, you know, I'm running. I see the coach hit the little button, and I hear him say 6.2. And I'm going, there's no way. I'm way faster than that. So we ran it again, and I'm running faster this time, 6.4. I'm going, there's no way. So I go over to the coaches, and I'm like, hey, what's the deal? I know that's not right. Are y'all hitting the button right? And the guy looks at me and goes, well, what difference does that make at this point? You know what? So I just took my talents over to the golf team, and the rest is history, okay? And look, you know what? Hey, they missed out on a burner, probably cost them a couple of state titles, and that's on them. Coach Shackelford, yeah, next time you'll hit the button right. So anyway, I know how he feels. So anyway, I think he had a good combine. He wanted to blow everybody away with a 4.3, and, you know, he's going to get drafted very high. Cedric Tillman had a 4.5 4.40, which is not bad for a guy at 6'3", 213 pounds. Not bad at all, and you know, great hands. He knows how to use his body and get those 50-50 balls, so he's going to be fine. And then Darnell Wright almost stole the show in the offensive lineman. 6'5", 330, runs a 5.01 40-yard dash. I mean, that is flying for a big man. That's crazy fast. This guy is an absolute freak athlete. I see him going in late in the first round without too much trouble. Then we had Byron Young. Man, he absolutely killed it. At 6'2", 250, runs a 4.43. You got to be kidding me. That is insanely fast. I mean, 4.43 at that size, there's just no way.
No way.
Yes way. It was the second best among defensive linemen. How could anybody have beaten that? There was some guy that did, though. He also led all the defensive linemen in the broad jump with 11 feet. And his vertical jump was 38, which was second. I mean, he just killed it. So he probably assured himself first round, maybe second round, something along those lines. That was a great combine for him. He just made himself several $1 million without question. Now let's talk about the guy that absolutely smoked the 40-yard dash. At his size was Anthony Richardson. And he pretty much dominated the quarterback group. He had a 40.5 vertical, 10.9 broad jump, set combine records for that position. Then he ran the 40-yard dash, and he just got stupid fast. And he ran that in 4.43. And this guy's over 6'4", 200 and almost 50 pounds, and he runs a 4.43. So that's just insane. So he kind of destroyed a lot of numbers for quarterbacks. I think only Michael Vick and maybe Robert Griffin III have ever been faster. So pretty impressive. That should help him a ton. A lot of people have him going in the top 10, and he may very well with those numbers. You know, the NFL has changed a lot. Your arm is still very important, and that's a question mark for Richardson. But with his athleticism and his ability to run, which is a big part of the NFL now, somebody's going to take a chance on him, and they're going to take a big-time risk on him because, look, he's a guy that could be a home run or it could be a flop. You just don't know until you find out. But I know one thing against Tennessee, I'm going to show you his numbers. And right here, he was 24 for 44, which is 54%. That's his big problem. But he threw for 453 yards, which, look, our defensive secondary wasn't so good. But he also ran for 62 yards. So over 500 yards came from Anthony Richardson against the Vols. And at one point, we were up 17 points on them with 7 minutes to go till they started doing some onside kick stuff and actually made it a close game. But without Anthony Richardson, we would have destroyed them. I mean, had they had a regular quarterback in there, say, to throw him for 300 yards and not run very much, it would have been an absolute rear-end kicking. So I don't know what Florida's going to do this coming year coming up. They've got this Graham Mertz guy who was very average. And you put in a very average quarterback in the SEC, and you're going to struggle. I tell you what, if they go 6-7 again, Billy Napier, you know, look, he's going to be rich for the rest of his life, like $40 million contract he signed. But I don't know he'll be there very long if he has another losing record. I just don't see Florida putting up with it. And without Anthony Richardson there, they'd better get another quarterback. That's what I can say. That or Graham Mertz better really show up and play like he did in high school. All right, folks, just wanted to cover some of these combine freaks that I thought you might be interested in. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover the Vols and all the SEC. I like covering the SEC. And if you've not subscribed, it's right here on the left. Just hit that little button right there. Costs you nothing. And it would help me. I would certainly appreciate it. And right over here is my most recent video. Be sure to check that out. Pretty popular. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.